Welcome back to Show and Sell. My name is Scott. On today's video, we're going to be looking at some cards that I just got back from PSA. Just got them back from having them graded, and well, that's not true. I actually got them back about 2 weeks ago, although life gets in the way. What are you going to do? But I'm going to show you the grades, and per the usual, I'm going to try and reinvent the wheel, or at least my version of it, and I'm going to show you the card and then give you two numbers. The first number is the estimated value from Collects, the app. I use them to inventory my cards, and I just decided to take advantage of their valuation, or at least their estimate of what they think the card might be worth. And then I'm going to use the value that the estimate that PSA also gives. Most of these apps, most of these sites, they're all just culling data from the same places. So I didn't really see the point in being an amateur. I didn't see the point for me to cull data from multiple places, when in fact they in turn may be just taking, giving their interpretation of data that they've received from the same places. So in any event, I'll show you the card, I'll give you two numbers, and then I'll give you the average of those two numbers to get what I assume is a guess. It's going to, in some cases, it might tick it up a little, but I think in most it'll bring the number down a little bit, and hopefully it'll give me a better number to expect should I or when I decide to sell the cards. But let's jump in, and we'll come back after and talk some more. To start us out, we always have to have one that gets sent back. This was identified as a miscut. It was a 62 tops Bubba Phillips. Bomber's Best, 63 tops, received a 1, and obviously it can only go up from here. I did look on a couple of sites, and while on one site there was nothing recently sold in a 1, a 2 had sold for $62.91. On the I believe it was on PSA, it was listed as on Collects it was $62.91 for a 2, and on PSA a 1 was valued at $24 or $25. So I'm going to say that this card is probably a $43 card, even in a 1. Four, and Juan Marichal. The Collects site had this at $15. PSA had it as an $11 or a $12 card, so I'm going to say it's probably a fair number would be 13. Pete Rose, 1.5. The Pete Rose card, on one site there was no value, on the other site was 20, so I'm going to say it probably is a $20 card, even in that low of a grade. Willie Stargell, 3, and Collects had this as a $9 card. PSA had it at $3. So I'm going to say it's $6. Really wasn't worth sending in, but this spot right here, I do not remember that being there when I sent it in. I'm almost certain it wasn't there. American League home run leaders, 4. And this particular card on Collects, it was listed as at a $15.99 value, and on strangely on PSA it was $69 to $74. So I'm gonna say it's a safe bet would be a $44 card. This next card is in slightly rough condition. I knew it when I sent it off, but I have an affinity for Sandy Koufax because when I was a kid, I actually wrote to Sandy, and he sent me his autograph through the mail. So even in a 1, I really, I don't mind. Collects had this as a $29 card, and PSA had this listed as a, say a $24 card. So I'll split the difference and say 27. Willie Stargell, 4. Excuse me, Willie McCovey. Willie McCovey, Collects has this as a $17 card, and PSA has this as a $19 to $21 card. So I'll say split the difference and say 18. The first football card, Bart Starr, a 4. Collects has this as a $48 card, and PSA has this as a $28 to $33 card. So splitting the difference, say a $40 card. And the last card, Paul Hornung, 4. And Collects has this as a $35 card, while PSA has this as a $13 or $14 card, splitting the difference, a $25 card. That 4 stack's a little high. Do me a favor. If you like this video, hit like. Even better, hit like and then hit subscribe. And YouTube, the darlings that they are, well, you know how it goes. Like and subscribe, like and subscribe. The algorithm loves that like and subscribe. They should let you know when the next video drops. If you didn't like the video, that's okay. Also hit like. I can't do anything about it. It's in the official rules. Just go down to the comments and tell me why. And who knows, maybe in the next video, I'll have implemented the changes that you suggested, and you'll like that video more. I sent these 10 cards in under the March Vintage Special. And to have all the cards sent off, get them back, it was $194.89. In their raw state, I took all of the what I assumed, or what the raw valuation was on each card, roughly $265. When I took the 2 numbers that I got and averaged them out, I came up with $236. Well, 236 is less than 265. So I'm not getting rich doing this, but I'm not really losing money either. I'm learning. The Bubba Phillips miscut, there was some value that just so much disappeared into the ether. The Sandy Koufax wasn't the greatest. I think it was a 1, but I sent it off because I wanted to have it graded, not because I was planning to sell it. Because Sandy had sent me an autograph when I was a kid, and I just had a fond memory of that exchange, and I wanted to have his card graded. The $236 in value, it cost me $195, so I'm up 42. There were a lot of 4s in that submission. It reminded me of, if you have ever seen an old sitcom, the two guys are talking, they're at the gym or in the, playing racquetball, and Janice has got a girl, her girlfriend's coming to town, and he tells his buddy he's hooking him up, and great, what'd she look like? She's got a great personality. If someone said, Scott, how are the grades on your latest submission? I would say, they've got a great personality. Not the greatest cards. A viewer actually contacted me after my last submission and made several suggestions, which I plan to implement on the next submission. Things like prepping the card and so forth, which I'm taking his comments to heart. I actually believe I told him that I was going to reread his message before I actually submit next time, and I am going to. I will probably draw some cards and do a submission in the next 2 or 3 weeks, and the username escapes me, but I do want to say thank you to that viewer, because gave me some things to think about that I think will help. It was too late because this submission had already been sent in, but I did want to do a shout out and say thank you to the viewer for those. So again, if you have any thoughts, always reach out. I'm a big guy, I can take it. Negative and positive, always appreciated and always read. I don't think, well, frankly speaking, I'm not going to get rich doing this, but I haven't actually lost money yet. The cards didn't cost me anything. They came from 2 estates. So I don't have any money in the cards themselves. Literally the only outlay was the cost of the submission. And since obviously I've added, I'm going to get money back. But, were some of them worth more raw? Yeah. But then again, those are, even on those sites where they give you that number, those are just averages themselves. I could always sell a raw card and have the person get it and be unhappy because it was in worse shape than they thought it was. Which is, again, why it's always better to have a card graded. It's the one thing that I will always say, having a card graded by a third party, whether or not you like that grade, because you have that buffer of the third party between the buyer and the seller, well, they can't argue as much. The buyer can't argue that with the condition when the seller's not the person putting the condition on the card. Just a thought. What do you think? Right or wrong? Would you have sent these in? What's your advice for the next go round? I had a good time doing this. I'm going to do it again. I'm learning as I go. I appreciate you watching, and I hope you'll join me next time. My name is Scott. We'll see you then.